Smells like a fine Bordeaux. Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today, something a bit different. Bit of a motoring mishap this week that we've got to sort out and hopefully deal with it in a DIY way as always. So stick around, let's jump under the bonnet and try our best. Now Joe's car here, it's served us well and it always appears to look like a far nicer car than it is. Well, it's a good car actually, but it's just getting on a bit. It's 15 years old and probably not worth much now, but it's worth more to us to keep it going. Until Joe tried to sabotage it because she really wants a different car. No, I think it was a genuine mistake, and after 15 years of motoring with the diesel car, Joe decided to put petrol in it, which is not clever. So we're going to be sorting that out today. It was getting fairly low on diesel. Joe managed to put about 15 litres of petrol in it for some unknown reason. Then drove about 4 miles, parked up, and then a couple of hours later went to start it and it didn't feel quite right. And then she suddenly realised what had gone wrong. So we parked it there, left it there, and the following day we went over one evening and this is kind of what we did.
Here we are, 6 o'clock in the car park. Hiya.
It's going to go in there after, okay? The jack. I think I need a bigger bomb. You'll find some long lost treasure down there.
It'd be enough to pay for a new car.
I do not have that bit. What is that bit when it's at home? It's game over.
I don't know.
I've not even seen that bit in my life.
Oh no.
As long as I can get these fuel lines back on. Right, so I have no idea what I was trying to find, but I think that's the fuel pump. Anyway, there's a pump under the back seats, but we can't get to the tank or the pump or anything because it's got stupid bits and I don't have a giant star bit. So rather than follow the suggestions on Instagram from people who were just saying put a load of diesel in it and forget it, I think it's too much, the ratio is too high. I'm going to see if I can suck it out the line with a drill pump. So I found a low pressure hose, which stinks like petrol, so I'm assuming that's, well, it smells like a fuel cocktail. But rather than connect the battery back on and try and turn it over continuously until that, I reckon this might, it's a bit loose. Oh, hang on. So I wonder if that'll suck it. Let's get a drill. I don't know how fast you're meant to. I've never used one of these before. Well, hang on, let's just check I'm doing this straight away. In, out.
You're not meant to reverse it.
Well, there's 2 hoses there.
You're not meant to reverse it.
Oh, what, the drill?
I don't know. It's just power, isn't it?
Okay, well there is another line. One of those might be a return line. We just try that.
Yeah.
May as well. It's not like it's getting dark or anything. Anything but. Well look, we've still got the option. Now we know that this hose fits on there. We've still got the option of turning the engine over, seeing which one squirts fuel out. Then we just stick the hose on it and just gun it straight into it.
Yeah.
Stop! Smells like a fine Bordeaux. Keep going, that's still petrol. Is it died? So in that bit that you just saw, we attempted a few things and didn't really achieve much. So we had to change the battery on this car anyway. We had a new battery, so that was quite handy. We disconnected the battery before we started messing around with any petrol issues. So while we had that disconnected, we tried to gain access under the back seat. Now, that's what you'll see. The go-to option is to pull up the back seat and you'll find the big access point to the fuel tank, and it's where the sender unit, and there is often a pump in there, and that is kind of what everyone says. Open that and pump it out from there. You can use the drill pump, siphon it out somehow, because you can't get in here with the hose. You'll get down a certain way and then there's an anti-siphon gadget in there or a mesh or something, so you can't get all the way down to where the tank is. Now, loads of people mentioned that on Instagram, and then some people who actually knew this car said, no, that's a four-wheel drive. Because of where the transmission comes down, because it's an all-wheel drive car, the tank saddles over that, so you'd only ever gain access to one side of it to be able to pump it out. You'd never get it all out. But if you can do that, open it up, pump it out, then you can basically get everything out of your tank, and then you can fill up and you know you're pretty much sorted. So option 2 was find the fuel hose under the bonnet. Now, I didn't really know what I was looking for, so I worked it out in the end. Found these that look the most fuel-y to me, and basically these come in low pressure, and the high pressure fuel bit is over that side. So we worked out that one of these goes to the high pressure pump, and one of them is a return. By taking those off, we realised that we've actually got a pipe that goes all the way to the fuel tank. If you turn over the engine, that will pump fuel out. First thing I thought is, if I get a pump, which I borrowed from next door, a drill pump, then we can connect it onto that hose and we can just pump it out. We won't have to use the engine to do the pumping. So I went to do that and then realised that his fuel pump didn't work. It would all kind of broken and perished inside. Option 2 it was to use the car to pump it out. I'm going to show you that now, because although we've kind of part sorted it, we're actually going to do it again. Why am I doing it again, you might ask? It's because I made a stupid error. We basically had that new battery, the old battery wasn't doing that well, so we ran it down anyway. So when you turn over the ignition, the fuel pumps out here. So we put the hose onto there and it pumped it into a container that we brought with us. So we're in the car park a few miles away, sorting that out, but then the battery started to die, which was fine because we had the new battery to put in. We put the new battery in and we decided, well, we'll just do, I don't know, 45 seconds of pumping. And then you could hear the battery, because it was a brand new battery, it wasn't fully charged anyway. And I didn't want to end up with a stranded car with a dead battery. So we turned it over long enough. We probably got about 10 litres of the petrol diesel mix out. What I should have done then is driven straight back home, and then the next day when we had access to the jump leads and things like that, I could have carried on pumping out the last of it, all of what was in the tank, and started completely from fresh. Instead, I drove to the nearest petrol station and I filled it to the brim with diesel. So it was a far lesser amount of petrol in there, but so only after doing that, I guess it was down to the sort of 5-10%. But even after that, I feel like we may as well take it all out. I'll probably put that in a lesser quality engine, such as the forklift or something like that, and we'll fill this back up with fresh diesel. Let's get these like fiddly fingernail breaking horrible hose clamps off. Okay. Right, next dilemma is the pump. Now, next door's one didn't work. His one came with two hoses and an in and an out, which screwed on a bit like a washing machine sort of attachment. That's not going to work now. I've had to get my own pump, partly because I want to prove that this actually works, without having to use the engine to turn it over, because I think that just, especially when there's a lot of fuel to pump out. So there's an in and an out, and it just didn't come with any hoses, so we've got to try and rig something together. So we're going to put that on there, ordinarily you'd have your drill pump, you'd have a nice hose fitting on and a nice hose coming out the other side, and you'd be able to pump, well, this is my thinking anyway, we'll be able to pump the tank empty from here. I don't know how well these prime themselves, but we only have this hose, so I'm going to try and push this on while I'm using it, and then it can go straight out the other end into the container. Well, I won't lie, that was not that successful, getting that hose to seal on. I think you might have to prime that hose quite a lot before that drill pump works. It kind of pulled through a bit, but I'm going to actually give up there because I just feel like we've done most of the work already. This is so diluted down now, and as long as we keep topping up with diesel, then I think hopefully we're okay. And I think if there was any damage done, it would have been in those first few miles. Now the other thing we can do, apparently, which I haven't done, but maybe let me know in the comments, is you can put a little bit of 2-stroke oil in with the fuel to help with the lubrication if there was any petrol in there. I'm probably not going to do that, but I'd love to hear everyone's solutions, because everyone seems to have very, very extreme opinions on what you should do in this instance. Now, we did inquire, it wasn't on our insurance policy, but we did inquire to 2 companies to come out and do it. First company was $250, second was $300. The guy who was $250 wasn't available for 3 days, so hardly a quick call out service, and therefore we decided to sort it out ourselves. It's pretty straightforward once you know where you've got to get access to. All we really needed is a bit of garden hose on there, and then the ability to jump start the car afterwards just in case we run the battery down, because unless you'd put 100 litres of petrol in there, if it was just a small amount that you've got to pump out, then you'd probably do it under the power of the car. And I don't know what other damage that causes, running the fuel pump, you know, from the ignition for an amount of time. The only other option that was mentioned was running it with a diagnostic tool, where you can actually activate the fuel pump alone without having to use the ignition, and therefore you would be just running it for 45-second increments or something from the software, but we didn't have that. We've done 2 options at least. You can get in under the back seat, pump it out that way, unless you've got a silly split fuel tank, or you can find the fuel hose under the bonnet and get it out that way. But for now, I'm going to go and get a head torch and keep my language clean as I fumble around in the dark with spring clamps. Ow. Ow.
Tim's never loved me so much, have you? If it makes you feel any better, I've been dealing with puppy poo.
Cannot see what I'm doing, and I keep pinching my finger on a hose clamp.
Would you go and get? Okay. I'll go in.
It's just not fun. So if you fill in the blanks of all that, then you might actually know how you may or may not be able to sort it. Either use the car to pump it out, or use the drill pump to pump it out from under the seat, or use the drill pump to pump it up from this pipe, or don't do it in the first place. Definitely, end of day, time for a beer, and then prepare for brickwork. I'm going to leave it there. Remember, if you can, do it yourself. Don't put petrol in your diesel. We'll see you next time.